My daughter and I recently took a very quick last minute trip to our vacation house in Ohio's Amish country, and it was delightful to see that daffodils are in bloom and spring is arriving. Of course, it has felt like spring in Texas for quite a while, but spring is even starting to arrive in Ohio. We have been getting a lot of work done on our home addition. I have shown you the inside kitchen area. The outside has needed a paint job because the new part that we added on has not matched with the old part, and the old part needed painting anyway. And so here I am trying to pick a paint color. And if you've ever picked white, you know there are a billion different whites, but in the end we went with the same white that we have on our barn. And it is amazing how light affects the color, because at sometimes when the sun is really bright, the white will look more stark white, and other times, like when the sun is setting, when it's not real bright, the color will look like a beautiful cream that just perfectly matches our Austin stone. So really picking the exact right color kind of has to do with the light situation. So I guess it's kind of hard to get it absolutely perfect, but I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. I never knew how much stuff we had on our front porch until it was all taken off and placed in the yard. And it's a lot of pots and furniture. And of course, we had some tables out that we had had an event, so that was there. But the flowers, the log holder, the bike, the rockers, plants, pots, garden flag, a lot of stuff. But it was nice to clear off the porch, and I look forward to redecorating it with the project all complete. I wanted to make a recipe that my Amish friend in Ohio recently made for my daughter and I. So I made these tiny little spaghetti that were like in the shape of elbow macaroni. I bought these in Ohio in one of the bulk food stores. It's the kind of pasta that my friend used. So I boiled that and I browned some beef. I just put in the oil there and added the beef in and stirred it around until it was brown. And I added in marinara sauce with the beef to give it seasoning, along with any other seasonings that I would typically use, salt and pepper or basil or Italian seasoning, but just try to get the meat well seasoned. Now it was time to drain the noodles, and then I mixed in some cream cheese with the noodles to give it a creamy texture. I sprayed a pan and then began to put in the noodles also into a baking dish. The pan was going to be for freezing for another meal, so we still have that in our freezer, maybe to take to church or on a busy night. And the glass baking dish was for this night's dinner, so I just put it into the dish. Now, after eating this, I will say I think next time I will try to add in a little bit more cream cheese, because I think that the noodles were not quite as creamy as my friends were. Another thing you could mix in if you don't have cream cheese would be sour cream. Then it was time to start layering on the meat mixture, and I think that next time I make it, I will add more meat. I thought that the end result was not as delicious as my friends, and I asked my daughter, what did I do wrong? What is different? And she said, well, the one that our friend made for us, the noodles were creamier and there was more meat. So next time I'm going to try again and see if I can't get it to taste a little bit more like my friend's delicious meal. It was good, but my friend's was better. Honestly, though, that is one of the beauties of homemaking. We get to try things and then we get to perfect things. We get to keep getting better and better with more practice. And the older I get, the more excited I am to learn new things and to improve my skills. Here I am adding various cheeses to both of them, the one we would eat that night and the one for the freezer. And sometimes I will do this if I need to use up different cheese that I have in my cheese drawer. And I think the different cheese adds different flavors. And so that's what I was doing on these that particular day. It was tricky to pick the stain color for the cedar wood. It could look one color and totally different once it went on the wood. It really had to be played with and tested. Isaiah 43:19 says, behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Isaiah 43:19. While my daughter and I were in Ohio, my husband sent me pictures to let me know that we had baby goats born on the farm. And so it was fun to get home and see those little goats. They are always so precious. They are so tiny and just so light, like featherweight. Precious little babies. And so the girls were having fun. It was rainy and they got a little bit wet, but they came in with the little goats all bundled up and so adorable. I came across a quote from Charles Spurgeon that says, "Don't you know that day dawns after night, showers displace drought, and spring and summer follow winter? Then have hope. Hope forever, for God will not fail you." Charles Spurgeon. While in Ohio, we went into an Amish variety store It's a newer one there in Holmes County and very nice. And I found these placemats that I thought would be perfect for our new vintage kitchen. I am trying to keep the tabletop nice, and sometimes I just do not feel like dealing with a tablecloth and having to wash the tablecloth. And so I picked up some of these and they are working out really nicely. I made a green tea mint soda of sorts. It is not like soda in the sense of a Dr. Pepper or a Coca-Cola. It's a much more nutritious soda, but it has the sparkle or the fizz from the seltzer water. So I boiled some water, steeped some mint tea leaves from my garden, added in the seltzer water and some sugar, and mixed all of that up. I then poured it over a glass of ice, and for some extra flavor and for the aesthetic appeal, I added mint leaves on the top and some frozen cranberries that I had in my freezer from an Azure Standard order. And it looked pretty and festive, and my family liked it. Again, it's not syrupy sweet. You can make it as sweet as you want, but it was a nice, refreshing drink for our lunch that day. Last week, my daughter and I took a last-minute trip to Ohio, and that is my favorite place in all the world to thrift. And so we found some goodies, and I wanted to show you what we thrifted while we were there. Mostly thrifting, a few other just local. They just have the best shopping. Anyway, thrifting or local stores. It's wonderful shopping there in Ohio's Amish country, and we have a VRBO house there, so if you're ever interested in visiting, we do rent our house out. But the first thing I want to show you is something that I was so excited, and I knew the minute I saw it because I had been on the lookout for it, is a copper tea kettle with the blue and white accents. It looks pretty good. It's got gold and copper and the blue and white. It's exactly what I had been looking for. And it does need a little bit of cleanup, and I'm not really sure how to clean copper. So if you know how to clean copper or the kind of product I should use on it to shine it up, maybe just touch it up just a bit. It's not that bad actually, but I would love it if you would tell me in the comments what you would recommend for brightening up, cleaning up this beautiful copper tea kettle. And I paid $5.50. I think that was a really good deal. What do you think? Is that a good deal? To me, it seemed like it was, and I snagged it. I also like to get garden seeds in Ohio from a local store called Berlin Seeds. And so I went with a friend and we bought some seeds for our gardens. I got this Cinderella lilac. I think it's some kind of zinnia. Cinderella lilac? I may be wrong. Maybe it's more of a lilac. Oh, it says annual zinnia, and the title is Cinderella lilac. Have you ever grown this? I'm gonna give it a try. Also, annual 4 o'clocks. I have grown 4 o'clocks before. They open up around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to give that a try. And then annual marigolds. Marigolds are good for the garden. And I got some watermelon. Now, we live in an area that is really good for growing watermelons. Unfortunately, I have not personally learned the trick to growing them successfully, but I know they can grow successfully in our area, and so I'm going to keep trying. And then okra does really well for us here in the South, so I got Rainbow Fiesta okra. That is both the reddish purplish okra and the green. And then several varieties of cucumbers. I always like to try to make some pickles, and we just enjoy snacking on cucumbers in general. Muskmelon. Again, I need to improve on my skill in growing melons, but melons definitely do well in our area. I just have to learn how to do better with them. I got red green onion. I also am not real experienced in growing onions, but I feel like with gardening, it's just every year you learn a little bit more. And I've probably been gardening for about 13 years, but in a limited way. I haven't had all the time in the world to focus on it, but I feel like every year I learn a little bit more. And it's exciting, especially at my age. It's exciting to keep going forward and learning new things. I got the champion radish pack and zucchini. Now, talking about learning things about the garden, before I realized how prolific these are, I planted way too many, and the garden was exploding with these massive zucchini plants. And so I think just a couple zucchini will do the trick. And then Kentucky blue pole beans, a variety of green bean. Have any of you grown this variety? I think I've heard of this before, Kentucky blue pole, but I like to grow green beans, and probably, honestly, my favorite thing to do with them is to pickle them and make dilly beans. It's almost like having a very small pickle. It has that pickle crunch and pickle flavor, but not as thick as a pickle. And I think they are delicious for snacking. And so if these do well, I plan to definitely can dilly beans. Now, at the thrift store, I found this sweater for myself. It has little buttons on it, and I just thought it would be a nice piece for spring. I also do really well with baskets in the Ohio thrift stores. I really like it when they have an accent color woven in. So I got this one, and also these that have a real sturdy feel, almost like light wood with the handle. I paid $2 for this at most. The tag says $2, but sometimes these things have an extra discount in the thrift store, so at most $2. I really liked this when I saw it. I liked the scalloped edge, and I don't see the sticker on it. Probably maybe $2 or $3 for this. It's a nice size, and I think it will be great for our large family, for a big salad, or maybe even like to put dinner rolls in. I think it is very versatile, and I got a good deal on that, so I was excited. I also got this little heart for 50 cents, and I thought that was cute for decor, especially Valentine's. And then a Christmas basket. I'm going to put this away, and if I do not use it in my home, it will be a great gift basket. And I paid $1 at the most for that. And then this one, I really do like this one. It has blue woven in the basket weave, and it has this primitive looking blue gingham ribbon on there. And this says 50 cents. So I think I got a real steal on this one. I also found a tic-tac-toe game for one of my daughters who loves everything to do with the ocean. Paid $2 for that. It has starfish and seahorses. I think she will like that. It's just unique. And then this looks like a kind of a table, not a runner, more like a square piece that might go in the center of the table. It's cream eyelet lace, and I paid, the tag says 50 cents, but I actually think that the yellow tags were half off that day, so I'm guessing I paid $0.25 for this beautiful eyelet lace piece. And certainly you could put it in the center of the table and then put candlesticks or a vase with flowers or a pitcher with flowers. But yeah, 25 cents, it was definitely worth picking up. And then this piece of lace with this beautiful scalloped edge, same thing. It was the yellow tag. I think it was half off. I think it was $0.25 for this whole piece of lace here, which definitely could be great for a sewing project or craft, or just, again, kind of doing a liner or a centerpiece on a table. So also, while I was in Ohio, I picked up, there is a store called the Gospel Shop in Sugar Creek, Ohio. I picked up this mosaic sticker pad for my daughter. We will be going to a conference here in the near future. And when we sit for hours and hours through conference sessions, it is helpful for her to have something to do with her hands, my youngest daughter. And this is a mosaic craft, and the little pieces are stickers. And so they had all different themes, different pads with different themes. This one is a nature theme. I will look to see if this is on Amazon. If it is, I will link it. But it has the bird, the butterfly, the fall leaves, squirrel, turtle, bee, the duck, rabbit, owl, hummingbird, the deer, and the frog. And I think these are so good for young children. This one says ages 7 to 107. I was with a friend and she was picking one out for her daughter, and they had them on different levels. So they even do have some that are very advanced for adults if that's something that interests you, like adult color books. They also have advanced sticker books for those who are older. So that's some of what I brought home from this last trip to Ohio, and I wanted to show you. So I know that some of you enjoy watching grocery hauls, and I enjoy watching them occasionally just to get ideas of what different stores are carrying that maybe I'm not aware of. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I got at Sam's yesterday. I love the Taylor Farms Caesar salad kit. It's, I believe, $3 something, and I feel like that's a really good price for the size of bag. These can be really pricey, so I like to get these when I go to Sam's. Also, this pack of 3 seedless long English cucumbers. If you watched my video last week, you saw where I made a cucumber salad. These are great for cucumber salad or for snacking cucumbers. They're just, it's a lot of cucumber in here in this one pack, and they're very tasty. So I like to pick these up at Sam's as well. Also, organic blueberries. I got a small pack because fruit is through the roof expensive right now. I still wish we had an orchard. I guess that's in the category of goals, but I got a small pack of organic blueberries. And then this pesto, I have not tried this before, but it says aged Parmesan and Romano cheeses and hints of garlic and pine nuts. So yeah, I thought that this looked good, and of course basil based, and I love anything basil, so this is good to dip crackers in. But I've also recently used it like in a casserole to add more herbal flavor in there, maybe a lasagna, part of the layering, or an Italian dish. So we are going to try the pesto from Sam's Club. I have also shown this before. I really like this cranberry chicken salad, cranberry pecan, and I like to use this on these little slider buns that I also get at Sam's. And I make this frequently for lunches or even as a little side with maybe soup for dinner. And I am actually not a huge fan of chicken salad. It has to be just so. And this one is a winner. It has a sweet flavor, cranberry pecan, white meat chicken salad. You should try it. I also picked up some tortillas. My family loves tortillas, and we go through these for tacos and burritos a lot. Also, just a good jug of Dawn soap. We live on a farm, and we have real issues with poison ivy. And one thing that I have been told is if you know that you touched it, immediately scrub that area that was touched with the poison ivy oil or leaf really well with Dawn soap. And I just feel like it works so well as a degreaser on pans and sticky things. So we can never have too much Dawn. I also got some dishwashing detergent. We were out of that. I got that. Some of our dishwashers seem to do better with the liquid. And then I also got these packs. And these are also easy and convenient for some of the dishwashers that we have. We have actually 3 dishwashers in this kitchen because we have a traditional one, and then we have the stacking one that's actually 2 drawers. Some people think that maybe that's 1 dishwasher, but it's actually 2 drawers, 2 separate dishwashers, and those work really well for big pots and pans. We have eaten this for years, the Stouffer's lasagna, and we definitely need the large one for our family. I buy this and take it to church. We have lunch at church. Everyone just brings their own dish or sandwiches or whatever. And so sometimes we will heat this up in the oven at home and take it in a insulated bag and then plug it in once we get to church, or put it on a warmer what do you call that? Plate, I think. And it will stay warm until lunchtime. So sometimes we will eat this. And then if it's also just a busy day and I don't have a good dinner plan, it's something easy to throw in the oven. So I picked up one of these to have in our freezer. We were about out of coffee, and so I bought a big box of these K-cups. I also like to, ideally I would love to find like a local farmer for our meat source, but when I don't know what else to do, Sam's seems to be a reasonable price to get the organic ground beef, and it comes in the 3-pack. It is, let's see, I think it has the sticker. It is $4.98 a pound, and in total this is 3.29 pounds. So each block is a little over a pound. So that's often where I end up getting our ground beef. Also a box of chicken pot pies. I have a son who goes to work, and these are handy for him, as well as the rest of the family occasionally. And then these big bars, some of my children like to snack on those, so I got a box of those. Also, I was excited to find this. It's 2 berry plants. It's 1 blueberry and 1 raspberry. And it says that it's self-pollinating and perfect for a patio container. I think I'm going to put it in a container in the garden and see what happens. You can see that it's already sprouted and growing leaves here. So I'm gonna try to get it out in the garden soon. I believe these came from Michigan, and I'm hoping, it says for zones 4 through 9. So I'm in zone 9. So I'm hopeful for a good result there. And then organic maple syrup. I think this was almost $13, but it is organic. And so I usually buy my syrup there at Sam's. Syrup can be so expensive, but that's where I'm currently feeling like I'm getting a good deal. So that's my recent Sam's Club haul, and I hope that you maybe got an idea of something that would be good in your home. Here is the back of our house after being painted, and the cedar posts were stained a darker color. There's the side of the house and the front of the house. Here you can see a bathroom inside of our house where these cabinets are built in. It used to be windows looking out to the front, and now the other side of that is our new pantry. And so where the windows were, we had cabinets built, and it tore up the sheetrock a lot, and so we had the painters repaint the bathroom and the cabinets, and it looks a lot better. Here is where they took the door down to varnish the front door, and picking the stain color was a big ordeal, but we finally did land on natural walnut for the front door, and then the cedar post stained differently than the front door would, and so Sherwin-Williams kind of matched it the best they could, and overall we are very happy with the way things turned out. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe so that you will not miss future content. Have a blessed day.